a 14-year-old kid catfishes the KKK.
That thing racked up millions of views.
I know.
I wasn't intending that. I was just telling the story.
The recall of shrimp at Walmart.
That felt like news. As someone who eats a lot of shrimp, that was big news for me.
What's it feel like that you have more viewers than anybody but Jon Stewart?
I try to only think about what's ahead of me and what I'm doing. I think that sometimes if you get too wrapped up in whether it's like ratings or numbers or views or any of that stuff, it starts to deter you.
Do you look at the comments?
How can you not look at the comments? Yeah, sure. Comedy is starting to have those expressions of genre in a way that I think is important for comics moving forward.
Is there a verboten theme for you?
I haven't talked about religion specifically. I want to make sure that I know enough about what I'm talking about not to misrepresent something. I can hopefully make you laugh more because then people appreciate when you know what you're talking about.
I am more excited today on Par with my guest than I have been with any other person. I'll tell you why. A couple of years ago, my daughter, Susan, comes to me and says, I got to show you something, Dad. You will not believe this. This guy has you to a T. Watch this.
I don't think Maury gets enough credit. I really don't. Maury is such an ally to the black community. He really is. In all the years he's been on the show, Maury has never fucked up a black name. Think about that shit. Over 20 years on the air, Don Twavius, says it like it's nothing. I'll mess up the name in my head. I'll be like, that's not even a word. That can't be a name. Maury will just sit there unfazed. They'll put the baby on the screen, and I'll see the screen below the name. And then Maury, without even missing a beat, will like, when it comes to the case of 6-month-old Twain, I'm like, wow! He said it with his full chest.
Oh, so everybody, I couldn't leave it at that. I've shown it to all my friends, and so I had to see him myself to see who I happen to think is one of the best comics, comedians, storytellers in this land. Everybody, Josh Johnson.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you. That's so nice.
Wow.
Yeah. How's your day?
My day is fine,
Yeah.
but I want to know, when did you figure out that you would do that bit on me?
It was actually, okay, so funny enough, I had been rewatching episodes of Maury on YouTube because I watched it pretty much every day after school for years because it would come on, where I lived, it came on at 3:30.
Right.
So I got out of school at 3.
We're talking Alexandria, Louisiana, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so then I would get home and then I'd watch you, and then I would watch, I think right after you, Dragon Ball Z. And so then it was these two, which is a wild combination to have. But I especially love the series, like when somebody would come back and they had just been on like 6 episodes.
Exactly.
And so then I like watched it. Then got older, went to college. After I graduated college, moved, and then just sort of rediscovered the show all over again on YouTube and was just like binge watching on YouTube. And then I noticed it. There was one day where I was just like, there was a compilation thing. And yeah, the names I noticed because it was a compilation specifically.
Right.
And I was like, this is starting to get like more and more wild. Like whoever did the edit knew what they were doing because it was just every name that came after the name before was harder to say, or it would be something that sounded so plain. It would just be like Shauna, but with a bunch of extra letters or something. And
exactly.
So that's when I.
So I'll tell you. Do you know why I could do that?
No.
When I was first starting out in the business, I'm a kid. I'm 16 years old. I'm helping the baseball broadcaster for the Washington Senators baseball team. This is in the 1950s. And he said to me, Maury, I want you to go down to the dugout. I want you to go through the entire roster of that team. I want you to find out how these players pronounce their names, the way they pronounce it, not the way I might, the way they do, because they deserve the respect to have their name pronounced correctly on the air. 60 years later, I was doing the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, you could tell because it's also one of those things where I'm like, in the back of my head, I was like, he must have said it 8 times fast.
The Flowers tour. You're on such a tour that I looked it up. I mean, this is big time stuff. In January, you're at the Beacon Theater in New York.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
that's historic.
Yes, yes. So
Have you ever played the Beacon?
I've opened for Trevor Noah at the Beacon before, and I opened for Hassan Minaj at the Beacon before, but yeah, never done my own like headlining show there. So I'm really
3
excited.
nights at the Beacon in January.
Yes. So I can't wait. I'm very, very excited.
So, as I said, you grew up in Alexandria. Did you really believe as a kid that if you kept selling your teeth to the tooth fairy, you could make money for your family?
Easily, yeah. Because also people don't go into enough detail. Like no one ever really sits you down and says it has to be your tooth. It has to be a tooth you're already about to lose. Like they don't go into detail. So that if you just find a tooth, you see a tooth, that's a tooth for the tooth fairy.
And you thought you could make money for your family?
We had our real like ups and downs and everything. I was blessed enough to be able to go to this Catholic school on scholarship and everything.
Right.
So I did end up going to a private school, even if we didn't always have like a ton of means and everything. Right. So very, very thankful for that. And I also think that so much of what happens, you can sort of poo-poo experiences and stuff, but so much of what happens shapes who you are. So even the things that are slightly unfortunate or uncomfortable at the time, they still help you form all of your opinions about people and the world. Those experiences are a big part of shaping you, especially for when you're a kid. And so I think I have a bit more, or at least this is my hope. Only other people, I guess, will be able to say if I do or don't. But I'd like to think I have a bit more understanding of people who are in a tight spot or find themselves in an uncomfortable situation because of my experiences. Because then even when I graduated college, I moved to Chicago, I still didn't have much money.
Right.
And so I'm used to not having much money. So then when people are maybe making judgments or jumping to conclusions about how people behave in certain scenarios, I can look back at how I felt in their shoes and have a little bit of a little bit more like empathy and hopefully a little bit more understanding about where some of that stuff comes from.
So, did this really happen? Because this was the video that started Josh Johnson. A 14-year-old kid catfishes the KKK.
Yeah. So
is that real?
Yeah.
No, it's not real.
I spent a lot of time online, and I was alone quite a bit because once again, this is in tandem with watching you and Dragon Ball Z, right? Even when I joined my my like high school cross country. I almost said country club. I did cross country, and so that became the after school activity that I just did for a couple years there. And I would either get rides from people so I could go home, or every once in a while, which I didn't tell my mom about because she wouldn't have liked it, I would run home as practice after practice.
And you had this computer, old time computer.
Yeah. What felt like the first computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were what, 14, 15?
Yeah, I was 14, 15 or so.
And you're scrolling around and start catfishing the KKK like you were going to join the KKK.
So the next day comes, and naturally I don't show up. I don't want to die. I was never going to. That'd be insane. No. But he hits me up the next day after school, and I should point out that for 2 weeks, I was running home mainly to talk to Dale. I wasn't even reading Craigslist anymore. I had 6 friends, and Dale was one of my best ones.
Yeah. I was on Craigslist, and I would go on Craigslist. I would go on a little bit of it wasn't Tumblr back in the day, but it was just like I would go on forums, I would go in chat rooms and stuff, and it was just a lot of that like early internet, no, like barely an avatar, just facelessness and everything. And now you're just like emailing people back and forth, or you're in a message board back and forth. And I don't know, that was like some of the charm of the internet for me, is that you could be anybody, because at school everyone knew me and had whatever opinion they had of me, but online it's like you can just reinvent yourself, or which is what ended up happening. You could string someone along. Like you were going to hang out with them.
I watched the bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bit. I mean, it's 15 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah.
And were you surprised at, I mean, if something jump-started your career, that was it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, what's interesting about it and YouTube in general is that so much of what happens still feels very organic in nature. So this was, not even posted on my channel. It was posted by another storytelling channel from the storytelling show that I did, right? And so it wasn't as if, and I think this might have even been for the better, but it wasn't as if that video catapulted my specific YouTube channel, because I didn't really start posting to YouTube, especially consistently.
But it got your name out there.
It got the name out, and so it was an interesting thing, because it catapulted in a way that sort of laid the groundwork for people to kind of know you do comedy.
Right.
And then when I really went all in on YouTube and everything, I felt like that was the perfect primer for people to be like, oh, I haven't seen this guy in a while. And then they check out the videos that are on my channel. And then they start to watch over and over again. And so I thought that was really, really, really special that it happened in that way. Because I think if it had just been my channel and I posted it, I would have had an enormous amount of pressure, because I wouldn't have known what to do next. Like, that thing racked up millions of views.
I know.
And I wasn't intending that. I was just telling the story. And so I think that it definitely stopped it from being something that I felt the pressure to keep up in a way.
But you're 35 years old, right? You take chances with your show. I've never seen a 35-year-old do it in years.
Really?
And the chances are you're a storyteller. Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw you did 20 minutes on the robbers at the Louvre.
Yeah.
20 minutes
Yeah.
on that thing. And there would be a time for 2 minutes you didn't get a laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really challenging yourself, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, it was also just if you have written and crafted a set so that way when everyone's supposed to laugh, it's okay to go a little bit longer without a laugh, in my opinion. Like, this is just the way that I see it. Like, I know that a lot of comedians think about laughs per minute and like continue everything rolling. Everyone's just supposed to be like knee slapping the whole time. But I think that for stories, there's a certain amount of tension and release that's important to make a story memorable or impactful. And so I think that it's even, to me, once again, this is just, I'm not telling anybody else what to do, but for me, it's very fun to tell details of a story that might even make someone go, why is this part even important? But then it comes back later and it builds to the point where maybe there were like 4 minutes without a laugh, but then the actual pop.
But I've seen you also in this, when I saw you the other night, there was an aside.
Yeah.
You do a little aside and that'll get a laugh.
Yes.
While you're telling this story.
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw, for instance, the whole Bad Bunny Super Bowl with ICE showing up.
Yeah.
And you're saying, think about it. Illegal aliens with tickets to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And ICE is going to arrest the illegal aliens coming to the Super Bowl. Like, really?
Because it also just felt like it felt like such a posturing thing to have ICE make some sort of announcement that they'd be at the Super Bowl, as if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, because even for the people who think ICE needs to be at the Super Bowl, do you really believe that the people who were here illegally spent the thousands and thousands of dollars
Right.
it would take to go to the Super Bowl, and that they're just going to sit at the half-yard line. Like, that just I don't know, it just felt like out of the realm of possibility. Yeah. And so I felt like that was like a funny aspect of it. And I think that when you're willing to tell a long enough story, it opens you up to express and explore all the angles of what people might be thinking going into a story, you know?
I mean, you take on some pretty, rough themes. I mean, you did a whole riff on Luigi Mangione.
Sometimes when there is a bunch of noise around a topic or a bunch of opinions flying and everything, I think it's very easy to throw your hands up and say everybody has an opinion or everybody's just trying to join in or something like that.
Saying that ICE is going to be at the Super Bowl as well, and it's like, all right, but what's the point of that? What's the point? Because you know all of the criminal illegal aliens, because that's what they're supposed to be about, right? You know all the criminal illegal aliens every year that score tickets to the Super Bowl. You know. You can't swing a stick without running into a criminal illegal alien with Super Bowl tickets. You know criminal illegal aliens love the Super Bowl. They love rolling up to the Super Bowl. Got my tickets right here. And no other form of identification.
But I felt like there was a lot of things of value being said and a lot of things that were shaping my thinking around the entire incident. And, I think that so much of it feels like a foregone conclusion when really the thing that's most interesting, I think the thing worth talking about, is people's reaction more so than just the attack.
But it's just not news events.
Mm-hmm.
Really? The recall of shrimp at Walmart?
That felt like news. That I'm gonna throw it out there that as someone who eats a lot of shrimp, that was big news for me. When
radioactive
I was like,
shrimp?
Easily. I need to stop eating great value shrimp potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw where Walmart had to issue a recall in several states because their Great Value, which is the name of the brand that Walmart makes, their Great Value shrimp was found to have radioactive isotopes in it. Whatever happened to like regular nasty? You know what I mean?
I find that if you talk about whatever you're really, really interested in, and you give everyone a sense of why you're interested in it, it's the easiest and best way to.
And then you go off
interest
into eating at a diner.
Yeah, for sure.
In the same, I got the shrimp going. Now I'm going to the diner.
Yes. So no, I've been having a lot of fun doing it, and it's a fun exercise to stretch.
How do you
and
know
everything.
what to tap into?
I think, I'll give you a good example
Good.
of something that I might not even know a lot about. Like, for instance, I don't actually know a ton about basketball. Like, I watch basketball sometimes. I'll watch championship games. I'll rewatch old clips. I find the players' talent fascinating. But as far as the game fundamentals and rules, I don't always know what I'm talking about. But then I see, I see what's happening with the NBA and the FBI.
Oh,
and
have you done that one yet?
I haven't done it yet, but it's like,
well, what you're thinking about?
That's what I'm thinking about next, because in my head I'm like, that's so interesting to take this sport that already has all of its fandom always in some sort of conspiracy theory about the game being rigged.
Yep.
And then you actually have proof that some games were rigged in ways that didn't even have much to do with winning or losing, because the parlay for the betting app is just if this person's going to get injured. Well, this person pretends to be injured, so then they win a bunch of money through winning those people money, but it doesn't necessarily even affect the game. They might still win the game. And you also had the coach playing those poker games with like
Sure.
those like mafia owned private rooms.
Right.
So there's just a lot. There's first of all a lot there that is interesting, and then there's a lot that I'm interested in. And so then even if you're not a sports fan, I think anybody can be intrigued by all the money that an NBA player makes, and they still do this. That feels crazy.
Right.
It'd be different if you were like, you know, an air hockey player, and somebody was willing to break you off quite a generous amount of bread for you to throw a game. That's one thing. But NBA players are already making substantial
Yeah.
money. And so why would you do this sort of thing?
Shaq said on the air, it says there's good money and bad money.
Yeah.
This is bad money.
Easily. So then that's a good example of like, I think that's something that's really, really interesting. Maybe and hopefully other people will find it interesting.
You might throw in this. In the old days, when we thought things were a little squirrely in basketball, we thought it was always the refs.
Yes, exactly.
Not the
exactly.
players, the refs.
Yeah. And then there's also something very funny about the compilation that people are making of certain players to try to basically say that they're throwing the game. But then in my head, I'm like, what if he is just bad? Like, what if he is bad at basketball?
Right.
It's like, is he throwing the game or does he just not have a great handle on it? Like, a lot of tall people are clumsy. Maybe he's just being clumsy.
What's it feel like when the statistics come out and we find in July of this year, when you hosted, because you're in a rotation of hosts on The Daily Show, that you have more viewers than anybody but Jon Stewart? 590,000 on one night in July. Nobody had that many except for Jon Stewart.
You know, I feel like I try to only think about...
Come on now.
No, I'm being honest. I try to only think about what's ahead of me and what I'm doing, because I think that sometimes if you get too wrapped up in whether it's like ratings or numbers or views or any of that stuff, it starts to deter you from like why that stuff
Wait a minute.
happened.
You don't go on YouTube to take a look at how many views you got?
No, I mean I see it, but I try not to
You get
think
the-
of it as
Do you look at the comments?
how can you not look at the comments? Yeah, sure. No, I'm with you. But I will say one thing, because what we do on the channel is when we go live with the video, we do a premiere and everyone comes into the premiere, and a lot of people have made like a weekly ritual of being in that premiere and
You do
chatting
it
and everything.
every week.
Yeah, every week. And
You do
it's
an
special.
hour every week.
Just about. I mean, I try to do at least a half hour, so it's anywhere from a half hour to an hour.
Every week.
Yeah.
Your mind worked that good.
I just don't really do anything else. That's really what it is, you know? I think it's mostly that I'm thinking about it so often, and I do think a lot of stuff is happening, especially now in the world, where how can you not form some sort of opinion about it, or how can you not be thinking about it? And to be fair, I was always writing a lot. I just wasn't putting it out there. And so I won't say I was writing this much the whole time, but I was always writing a lot and then not really knowing what to do with it, because the old model is you write and you write and you write, and then you have your jokes, you have your set really, really tight, and then you go to someone and hopefully they want to buy your hour from you or something like that. But I think that for me, I had a lot of things to talk about that may have not ended up in an hour anywhere. Why not put that thing out, you know?
There's only one guy I can think of who comes close to adapting your kind of humor in terms of storytelling. And it's a guy I interviewed many, many years ago. I think you're as close to George Carlin as anybody.
That's very kind. That's
what he would do.
Yeah.
He was a storyteller, and he would go on and not get a laugh for a while until he could do something to create a laugh. And you do the same thing. You don't.
Thank you.
You just don't pound, one-liners at people.
Sure. No, I mean, I also think that there's such an incredible world being created where comedy is starting to have those expressions of genre in a way that I think is important for comics moving forward, because I think that for so long people saw stand-up comedy as one singular thing with one way to do it, and whoever was the best at doing it that way was the best. And I think as more people branched out, and this is like obviously from a long time ago, you see like Jonathan Winters was an inspiration for Robin Williams.
Sure.
You know, like Dick Gregory was an inspiration for Richard Pryor and everything. So there's always been this sort of splintering off that has been as specific as personality.
So do you have one?
I mean, it sounds it always sounds like a little bit too easy to say, but I do think that Pryor and Carlin were two people who took the form to another level by making it more autobiographical and by making it more intimate and by sharing their real thoughts on the world as much backlash as they receive for them. Because I think now, with the benefit of hindsight and the way the world is now versus the way it was then, we just look at them as these like pioneers of comedy. But they caught an egregious amount of hell for just
Sure.
doing what they
Both of them.
yeah, doing what they did. And I think that if you have, I guess, enough courage in the moment to stand in the face of so many people saying that you and how you think and what you do is just completely wrong, then I think that's something that's more than worth remembering. I think that etches you into that sort of like Rushmore of great comics.
But you also add something, not Carlin as much. Maybe Pryor did a little bit of it. But you have a lot of physicality in your show.
Oh, I try. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You're moving.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
And you're not dancing, but you're
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah,
And you have moves on various aspects of your storytelling. Mm-hmm. Why?
I think it's important to branch out as much as you can with, whatever it is you're doing. Like it can be any art form or any discipline you've taken up. And I think that for me, for so long, especially if you watch some of the early stuff, back when I like didn't have any hair or something, you'd see that I like didn't move at all. I was just stiff, and I did the jokes. I might tell one story, but I mostly just did the jokes, and then that was it. And I think that once I opened myself up to move a little bit more and just have a better sense of presence, I opened myself up to a better way to tell stories and a more immersive strategy in how to convey an idea and everything. Because there is something to be said for, obviously, it's a spoken form, so you should pick the right words, you should write a clear message. But then there's something that's hard to beat about just seeing something. And if somebody stood a certain way, or they walked a certain way, or they had a certain movement, and I can just show you, I think that that's just as funny, if not funnier, than describing it.
Oh, no, it adds.
Yeah.
It really does add.
Yeah. So I hope to always expand and become better. And that's another reason why I think you don't want to let too many outside forces, good or bad, numbers or compliments or opinions or anything, shape how you feel about what you're making. Because I think that when you do that, it can both lull you into a sense of complacency, or you might take too many things to heart, and good or bad, they're pulling you away from what you were naturally doing.
I'm very friendly with one comic, and that's Lewis Black. Okay.
Oh yes.
So Lewis told me, and this is, see, I just firmly believed that most comedians live in dark places.
Sure.
And are very, there's a darkness there. Lewis told me he never had anxiety. He never felt dark ever until COVID.
Oh, wow.
That he never experienced any of that.
Wow.
Now, you can't get on that bandwagon.
Here's the thing. I think that, can only speak for myself, but I think that comedy is what like took me out of those places and helps keep those places at bay a bit. I think if I wasn't doing comedy, and if I just sat and had all these thoughts to
How
myself.
about if you were just a writer?
I mean, I've been.
I mean,
mostly
you have been a
writer.
writer.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a writer on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, and I think that form of expression is really really a good outlet. And so I think even in that regard, it keeps some of those things at bay. But
You have to express it.
you have to, like, I think I look at it the way you would look at kids who don't get recess, right? Let's say there's little kids and for whatever reason at this school, there is no recess. You just are like, I know you're 8 years old, but you're going to sit at this desk and we're going to give you subject after subject after subject. After a while, it's not that the kid isn't smart. It's not that they don't want to learn. It's not, but there's just too much pent up. And so when you leave everything pent up like that, that's what I think can make people anxious. That's what I think can lead to some forms of anxiety. And this is completely outside of like the actual chemical imbalances that some people have and the actual like traumas they've experienced. And so I'm just talking about from a sort of neutral state of mind to these dark places. I think that some of it is caused by not having those outlets, because I think those outlets bring a sense of confidence. They bring community. Most of the friends that I made when I was in Chicago, I made through comedy. I think it is a confidence builder, because before I did comedy, I wasn't a great communicator, and I didn't talk to a lot of people.
I'll tell you this, outside the public,
Mm-hmm.
I find you very humble, genteel.
Oh, thanks.
I know a lot of people, who are, on stage and stuff like that. They don't have a humility the way you seem to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think some of it is just like, I think about my mom a lot, and I think about how. Yeah, I just think about how.
What does she think of you?
I would hope highly. But yeah, my mom is really taken aback by the success and everything, and she's expressed many times how proud she is, and I'm very thankful that she gets to see me do well and everything, because my dad passed away before I was really doing much.
9 years ago or something.
Yeah, and it just like so much has happened since then, and so I think that for her and my aunt to like get to see it in person and see that things are going well and that I'm able to take care of myself and everything, I feel like I'm not a parent, but I imagine any parent's fear into one of their greatest wishes is that their kid will be okay and their kid will make their way through the world well. I
mean, I can relate to that. I mean, my father always thought that money just burned a hole in my pocket, and therefore I would never have any money. And I think I've told this story before, but I made sure when he was in his late 80s and almost 90, and his boyhood home was in Maine, and Connie and I were able to send a plane for him and my mother to go to Maine and picked us up here in New York. And he looked at me and he said, I'm not going to worry about you anymore.
Yeah.
If you can send a plane for me.
No, 100%. Yeah.
So you want to make sure that your parents know you're okay.
Yeah.
Before they pass on.
And what did your father do?
My father started as a caddy in golf in Bar Harbor, Maine, where he was born. And he was hooked up as a caddy with this guy who took him to Washington, D.C., asked my grandmother to take him to Washington, D.C. He was just a towny kid. And he said he would give him a job because he had his own golf course at his house, and that he owned the Washington Post newspaper. And my father, for 75 years, was a sports writer for the Washington Post.
That's wild. Wait.
Yeah.
And so did he
Self-taught.
Wow.
He was the sports editor at the age of 21.
Oh my gosh.
And he was a great sports writer. I mean, anybody much older than you would realize how great he was because they read him a lot.
Yeah.
But he died at 92, the day after he wrote his last column.
That's wild.
Yeah. So he had his faculties all the way through.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was special.
Yeah.
But then again, he was a tough dad. Was your dad tough?
I wouldn't call him particularly tough. You know, I think that there's I mean, I think you would be able to really speak to it as well because you had your dad with you for longer. There's
Right.
a sense that I'm guessing a lot of dads have, which is that they want, just like we talked about before, their kid to be able to make it
Sure.
through the world. And so some of it is, especially in an older setting, in a previous generation, it was your mother that you looked to for like the tenderness and how you
Sure.
should treat people, how you should move through the world and everything. And not that fathers shouldn't tell you how to treat people, but fathers express the sort of like sternness and firmness of the general facts of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes can feel very, very tough, a little cold, or
You
Yeah.
pegged it. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say tough. More like firm and stern.
yeah, because I think at the end of the day, there's going to be a world where if you send this kid out into the world, there are going to be people and institutions that don't care how smart they are, don't care how sensitive they are, don't care what the circumstance is. There's just going to be the facts of the situation. And so I think sometimes expressing that in like an interpersonal way can seem very distant.
Right.
But really all it is a training ground for like, okay, what happened? This is what happened?
Yeah.
I actually don't care that it's not your fault. This is what happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to punish you because that's the way the world is. It's like they're
Yeah, I mean, one time in my life, probably the worst moment, I was getting divorced. I hadn't told my parents. I had moved to Los Angeles. I lost my job anchoring the news 6 months in, and I had to call and tell my father that I was getting the divorce, and I just lost my job because it was going to be in the papers that I was being fired.
yeah.
This is the firm and stern dad, right? And so I was scared to death to
Yeah.
call my parents. So I finally called him and told him, and there was this long pause, and he said, get all the sharp instruments out of the house and come home and hug your mother." The furthest thing that I ever thought my father would ever say to me. And he would all of a sudden, lighten it up like, don't do anything to yourself and come home and hug your mom.
Yeah. That's wild.
So talking about things like that you want to do for people,
Yeah.
you went on the Tonight Show for the first time, and you made sure that a teacher of yours who told you when you were growing up, one day you're going to be on the Tonight Show, and you brought him to see you.
Yes, yeah. No, that was really special. I'm glad that he could make it. I was thankful that I could do it. Like, yeah, Mr. Ward taught me in geography class, world history, and I believe there was one more class that he taught, and he was like the head of the quiz bowl. And so I always really enjoyed both just spending time with him. He was one of the teachers that I felt like imparted a lot on me, and I don't know, just gave me a real sense of like thinking a little deeper, going to the next level on something, because I think that it's very easy to be taught things and just take them at face value, because especially when you're a kid, adults are supposed to know more than you. This is what the adult is saying, and then there's it black and white. And I think he was one of the earliest teachers I had that was really trying to instill where are you getting these facts from, or why does the person telling you this thing believe this thing, or there's just like multiple interpretations to a story, like two things can be true at the same time. So even when he was teaching history, sometimes he would teach us something that was obviously like in the book, and then he'd say, but if you go to this part of the world, this is how they tell the
Why did he think
story.
you were going to be on the Tonight Show?
I did the talent show at high school, which I think I did fine. I think I did okay.
Can you remember it?
Not well. I remember him saying that because I remember it was something that he told me a few times because he knew that I had a real love for jokes and he knew that I had a real interest in comedy, and so he was always like very supportive in that way.
How do you turn the new Cracker Barrel logo into a joke? More than a joke,
Yeah.
into a story.
I mean, for me, when Cracker Barrel happened, I couldn't believe how passionate people were, and so I think that did some of the work in a way, because already you take a topic and you find it interesting, but you know other people may not. But so many people were so up in arms about it that I was like, this is something that I think people are at least talking about. I do think some of the outrage was a little bit manufactured. Sometimes I think that we give voices to people who are professional malcontents. So it's like it makes it seem like everybody's upset about something when really only a few people are. And I don't know. I was genuinely reading what people were saying, looking at the reaction, but then also looking at the numbers, because then stock was dropping. There were people that were going to boycott.
They've lost $450 million.
Yeah, like it was one of those things where I was like, how did you even have that much money?
Right.
That blew my mind.
Yeah. I saw an article that said, described you as having meticulous curiosity.
Oh, that's nice.
You'll buy that one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I try to stay curious.
I think, first of all, I think one of the reasons why I've been able to, be around for so long is because of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
But I never added meticulous.
Yeah. I guess I'm wondering where meticulous comes in, actually.
Well, maybe it's
Yeah.
because of all the various ingredients.
Sure. I mean, I think it might even be the nicest way for them to say chronically online,
Really?
Yeah, I think, because I will say there are some things where one of the reasons I wonder and worry about sometimes the topic that I'm delving into is that the thing with being online, I think the internet was a beautiful and very destructive invention. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that can convince you that the whole world is one way unless you get offline or you go out and you talk to people. You're going to get a bit of a, how do I put this? You're going to get a bit of a skewed perspective on what's happening in the real world.
Right.
Just like the Cracker Barrel thing. How many people are really upset about that? Turns out a lot. But the internet could have you believing every single person's upset about it, which just isn't true, right? And so I try to stay curious because I think that curiosity leads to a lot of good questions, and good questions lead to people opening themselves up.
Do you have family group chats?
I do. Yeah, I do. I am not as active, and I have a few group chats, and there's only like one or two of them.
Why are you laughing? Come on.
Just
now.
okay. Yeah, there is one of them where a family member who I've never met before.
You haven't met?
I've never met him.
A family member.
Yeah, a family member that I have not met is in the group chat, and every once in a while, I guess he thinks he's really dropping knowledge when really it is full-blown conspiracy theories.
Most of those family members I know.
Yes, easily. Usually it's a person at Thanksgiving that you're like, please just don't bring up the thing, whatever that thing is.
Right.
But this is always in like group chat form. Yeah.
Is your aunt in the family group chats?
Yes. I mean, well, I have a couple of separate ones, and so I have two aunts, and they are both in different group chats. Yeah.
Right. I love the bit about being stopped by the cop in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
You're stopped by the cop in Atlanta. You have 4 people in the car, and he comes over and stops you because he thinks you have too many people in the car.
Yeah. And I was looking it up. I was literally Googling. I was like, what is happening? There's no way. This is crazy. And then the cop comes back and he's like, on behalf of the county, we'd like to give you this turkey. So it was one of those things where he was like, it was like a
Right
one of
before
those,
Thanksgiving.
one of those nice Thanksgiving pranks, but like as a cop, you know that that's not what we're thinking. You know that when you get pulled over, you're not thinking to yourself, oh, he probably got a turkey.
Right.
I know he wants to give us a turkey because there's no way we were speeding. No, that was wild.
I saw another thing about description of you and said that you're one of the few comics where the audience thinks you're talking to them personally.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the intention. That's the goal.
Well, that's
there.
tough to do. I saw you. There were 1,000 people in the audience,
Yeah, yeah.
and everybody thinks that you're talking to them,
Yeah.
not their seatmate.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that if you can build on a relationship that you have with the people that are watching what you do, you can become a better performer. You can also build an even stronger relationship by acknowledging, like, if I can speak to people in a way that feels personal, then the things that I'm saying, and I try to take great care with like how I speak and what I say, I think that those are the ways that you can reach people and let them know things like you're not alone, or you're not out of your mind. Things are going crazy.
Right.
Like there's a lot of good that can come from the feeling that people get that you are having this conversation with them, and so that's something that I hope to get even better at in the future.
You know, on my show, that all through my career, there are two things I didn't like to deal with. Didn't like to deal with politics. Didn't like to deal with religion.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a verboten theme for you?
Not really, because I think that in order, once again, like the same way I got more physical doing stand-up, I think that I do my best not to shy away from anything. There are certain things I haven't talked about yet because I want to have the right way to describe them and the right like understanding. I think I have not talked about, like I did a thing about the Catholic Church having to settle with the Los Angeles, county and everything for all that money, but I haven't talked about religion specifically or any specific religion because I want to make sure that I know enough about what I'm talking about not to misrepresent something. So that's like a good example of something where I'm like,
So you do a lot of
holding off on
research.
as much as I can, yeah. Because I feel like I'm not saying everything has to be 100% factual and true to be funny. I just think it's easier and more of a lasting impression to make people laugh about something that did happen that way,
Right.
or is true, or because people can connect with a general truth. Like even when you do go to church and a priest makes a joke about whatever it is that everyone in the audience gets about this church, right? Maybe it has a creaky door or something like that. The priest mentioning a door that is actually creaky and everyone knows it's creaky will be funnier than the priest saying that off the cuff and people are like, does that door creak? I don't even know if that's true.
Right.
And so I think that if you are as well versed in something as possible, to know what you're really talking about means that you know what you're really joking about, you know? And no one can be perfect. Like, I'm not actually a journalist or anything, but I think that if I handle a subject with enough of an eye on what I'm talking about, then I can hopefully make you laugh more, because then people appreciate when you know what you're talking about.
Right. So if you go on every week with a long YouTube, I mean, do you miss? Or are they all hits?
I don't know. I guess it just depends on what the definition of hit would be. I would say for me, I feel good about what I put out every week because I feel like I completed the exercise of this is something that I'm interested in.
But how do you do that every week and yet you're going to be doing a special or you're going to be on tour? I mean, how does your mind, you got to do a lot. If you're doing one every week, that means you got 50 different things to do every.
Sure, but I think the benefit that I have is that at least if you're pulling from something that's initially topical, then things will keep happening. Like, the world doesn't stop. So I think if I looked at it bird's eye view, I think I'd probably get intimidated and stressed out about it. But looking at it from week to week, it's more just paying attention to the foot in front of you, and then when you turn around, you walked a few miles. It's more that than it is like I got to plan my whole life out, you know?
That's your outfit on stage.
Oh, yeah.
You're wearing this outfit
Yeah.
on stage.
This is pretty much all I wear, yeah.
Yeah. Is there a reason? Although I saw you on Kimmel
Oh, yeah,
dressed
yeah.
up in a sofa suit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is it. Is it because it's comfortable or what?
It's very comfortable, and I just like it. Like I have about 14 of gray hoodies, and I got several pairs of jeans. I always know what I'm wearing. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to wonder unless I'm going to like a wedding or something.
Right.
And yeah, I really just think of it as one less decision I have to make.
Okay. So I've got an envelope. The results are in. Anybody who watches my
Yeah,
show,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
about the envelopes, okay? So I'm going to read out some topics.
Okay.
And you tell them if you think they're on par, which means, they're okay, that's good.
Okay.
Or are they off the rails? Here we go. In the case of on par or off the rails, Josh. Oh, boy. I'm glad I'm not coming up with the next line. All right. Do you think that Florida man memes are on par or off the rails?
I think they're on par because they are happening. These are things that are like actually happening, you know? Like,
Would you tell me what they are?
So, okay, there was a meme somebody made about a guy in Florida who robbed a liquor store with an alligator. Like he had kind of a baby alligator,
Right.
but he had it in his hands.
Right.
And he was
as a weapon.
as a weapon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I think you get to say what you want now about this guy.
Okay, good. Do you think doing a lie detector before a first date just to be safe?
I think that's off the rails because I think that everybody on the first date is lying.
Oh,
I think
really?
I think it's
You've been down that road.
people are putting their best foot forward,
Right.
and it's like, and you got to give them some breathing room because I'll even say this. This is the one olive branch I'll extend to a liar on the first date is that this is what it will look like when they're trying.
I see.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'll at least be able to recognize it. So let's say you've been dating for 2 years now.
Right.
And then they're like, I want to do something spontaneous. They take you on a date. And they start to give you first date vibes. You're like, oh, you were lying before. But this is what it looks like when you're putting forth an effort.
I've never thought about that. Of course, it's been a while since I had a first date. But
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I mean,
You build yourself up to something you're not.
easily.
Yeah.
And I had a joke about how I hope to be the person that I am on the first date for real. That's who I aspire to be all the time. Right. That guy, he pulls chairs out.
Right.
He does all sorts of things.
Okay. Do you think, Josh, posting thirst traps?
Here's the thing. This is why I think it's off the rails, all right? Because of filters and because of the mystique that you can get on social that immediately falls off when you're in person, I think that thirst traps are a bit unfair to everybody. Because now, unlike with the lying on the first date,
Right.
making yourself out to be better than you are, I think a thirst trap is actually making a sexy version of yourself you can never fully attain.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
It's like, it's all angles.
Avocado toast.
Definitely on par.
On par.
Yeah, no, I think the people who obsess about avocado toast prices, and I'm sure you've seen that thing about people being like, you want to afford a house, but you buy avocado toast every day, whatever. It's like those two things aren't congruent. Like it's not like the avocado toast equals house money,
Right.
unless you're having avocado toast every day for like 60 years, maybe. But even then, that was never going to be enough for a down payment initially.
Right. Chuckle chasers on par or off the rails?
I think off the rails. I think I know what a chuckle chaser is.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, I think it's someone who just chases down comedians, like a groupie
Oh,
for
really?
comedians. Yeah.
There are such people.
Apparently.
You mean you don't get run over by them after your shows?
No.
AI girlfriends or boyfriends.
That is definitely off the rails. That is bad.
That happens.
It happens, and it's literally AI psychosis. Like, it's called ChatGPT. Don't call it Charlie. Don't call it Susan. Don't give it any other name. It's also a program. Like, these large language models are just there to bounce ideas off of and ask questions. Once you get into like a romantic thing, it's a little too
Have you ever gone on
thirsty.
ChatGPT and tried to emulate a Josh Johnson story?
So not only have I never done that, it was once done in front of me, and it was very upsetting. It was like was basically
Was it close?
It felt like, I'll put it this way, it was close enough to make it feel like it was making fun of me. So it was like I guess in the vein of something I might say, but it was not how I would have worded it, and it just felt like if somebody did an impression of you, but it was bad. And you're like, oh, okay. Is that what I sound like to people?
Okay, everybody. It's been great.
Thanks
you
so
much.
much.
I mean, it's
thanks for hanging out, man.
Oh no,
Yeah.
This is
Do you mind if I ask you a question before we go?
Sure.
Okay. When you're reading the results,
Yeah.
and the people would dance,
yeah.
how did you always know to get far away? Because you never knew who was going to flip.
No idea.
You never knew.
I had some security around me, but I always seemed to. Well, okay, so I would sit here. The woman would sit there. The guy would sit over there. So if the flips started to happen, they were downstage, closer to the audience.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
Than closer to me.
Got
Yeah, I
you.
never really. I can't remember one instant where I felt threatened.
I do have another question.
Sure.
I have a theory about you. I've told my friends. I've told lots of people this. I have a theory that you are secretly very fast, like a very fast runner, that you walk very fast. Because sometimes when these results were read and somebody would scream, "Oh no," and they would run backstage, next thing I know, you next to them.
Yeah.
But I didn't see you run.
Well-
you never ran. You would just walk into the frame, and I'm like, how did he get back there so fast? Because they followed this person.
I do walk fast, but
Yeah.
edit.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Good edits.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Because that was a seamless edit, because from what I saw, you read the results, they ran out, and then the camera followed them for a while. And then the next thing I know, you're like approaching them from left of camera.
We're starting this thing. I got a golf ball here. I want you to sign it.
Oh, okay.
We're starting this. Everybody's going to sign a golf ball. The Flowers Tour is on the road right now. Come January, baby, you better come to the Beacon Theater, and I guarantee you it will be sold out. And check out Josh, obviously, on his YouTube page, because every week there's a different story, okay? The results are in. Conversations are great with Josh on par with Maury Povich. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Awesome.
If you've had as much fun as I did, make sure you subscribe to On Par on YouTube and tap that little bell so you don't miss a thing. And if you like to listen on the go, we're on Apple, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. Hit the follow button.